Lisa. I have a bunch of photos today to do over a 2-page spread. I did take these photos several months ago actually and create these photo collages. These are 8 by 10 prints that I created using Photoshop Elements just to put my photos on one page. I added a little bit of journaling, kind of cropped them the way I wanted them, and then had them printed. It's my regular printer that I use to do printing service that I use to do photos. It's a little more expensive to do it that way since 8 by 10s are quite a bit more expensive than others, but it's really nice to have them all on one page. And the way I'm going to do these, I've got 2 pages of the photos. I'm actually going to put them back to back on the page, so you'll see that a little bit later on. There's a total of 18 photos here, including what's on these collages as well as the 4 by 6 prints that I had done. These came from an event called Art in Bloom. It's sponsored by the North Carolina Museum of Art in Raleigh. If you live anywhere within driving distance of the Raleigh area, I highly recommend this. They apparently do this annually. Last year was the first year we went, and we went to celebrate my mother's birthday, as it happened to be close to that. They're having it again this year. It's in late March. What they do is they invite a floral design, a group, several floral designers to come in, and they assign each floral designer a specific piece of artwork in the museum. So in this case, this is the painting that was assigned to a particular floral designer, and the way it was interpreted was to create this design where the designer used some tropical plants as well as some succulents and other things to make it look a lot like the painting. And sometimes they try to sort of replicate the look of the painting. Some of them were just really focused on the color or on the style or on the shapes. It just got all kinds of different things. One that I have here in a 4 by 6, this was one of our favorites. The painting was called Mount Vesuvius, and it just sort of looks like everything's erupting. And this was a floor-to-ceiling design. Some of them are just tabletop designs, but they're all just gorgeous. They're fresh flowers, and they do this it's on display for 3 or 4 days. You have to buy tickets as opposed to the way the museum normally operates where it's free. In this case, there is a charge, and you have to plan it in advance, but it was a great event. We really enjoyed it. And I have a lot of photos. I have a lot more than I printed, but I picked out some of my favorites to print and some of the things that my mother's were her favorite. And I want to show you in particular one picture of her. She doesn't allow me to tell people how old she is, but let's just say she looks really, really great for her age. And so I have a lot of photos here of us and of the floral arrangements that I want to do on a 2-page layout. As I say, I'm going to take these, and I'll probably make this the main page, and put these back to back so that they fold out so that you can see underneath it, and that will give me more room for additional journaling and a place to put some more photos and embellishments and stuff. So with doing that, I should actually have a fair amount of space to decorate these pages. Now with photographs like these, I'm probably not going to do, say, floral designs on my page because I think it would take away from the pictures. But whatever I decide to do, I want to probably use, I'm looking at these seeing a lot of oranges. So I'll probably want to use some orange colors and maybe some pinks. And for that reason, I pulled out these papers from Basic Gray. This is Hillside and Deer Heart, and of course these are old, as Basic Gray is no longer with us in terms of paper crafting, just such a shame. I did have some papers in this collection where I had 2 of the same thing that would have made a great background in terms of having a consistent background, but I didn't think it would be that great in terms of the colors. It just didn't really set off the photographs, and I had some others that were like that. I think I have 2 of these other greens, wrong shade of green, just things that just didn't quite work. This beige here, that was, well, I don't have a full sheets of that, but it was kind of, I don't know, a little dull looking. So what I've ended up with right now for backgrounds are these 2 pieces of green paper that I want to work with. They're not the same, but they're similar enough that I think they'll work as background papers for my layout. And then we're going to work in some of these other papers, and I have the 6 by 6 at least from Hillside, and I may have the other one in here too. But I have several things from this collection that I can work with and in doing this page. So other than knowing that I'm going to put these in a kind of flip out sort of arrangement, I haven't really given a whole lot of thought to how I'm going to arrange the page, what I'm going to use for embellishments, or even the title. I'll probably use the title Art in Bloom because I think it's, it's really descriptive of what's going on here. So other than that, I really haven't decided what I want to do with the page. So I need to start trimming these down, thinking a little bit about how I want to arrange this to get as much out of these beautiful photos as I can. So once I trimmed everything down and sort of laid it out, I realized that I could just put the 4 photos here on the left-hand page and then put this collage back to back on the right-hand page and embellish and put a title on it, and that would pretty much cover it. That's one consideration. However, I just love this photo of my mother so much that I really like to highlight it a little bit more. So I also thought about, well, I could just do all the people over here and put this photo underneath, but it's a really great one to showcase the event. So I decided to take the pictures of us, or me mainly, with my husband and my mom and me, and put those under here. So they'd be a nice little surprise when you raise this up to see these extra photos of us, because I think the one of her looks really, really good. And then adding the floral one next to it doesn't take away from her. And then she's over here on this page, as well as we have us over here on this side. So I think that's the way I'm going to approach the arrangement of the photos. Now, these two will need to go on a piece of cardstock or something to hold them in place, and they're perfectly sized to go on an 8.5 by 11 piece. So they can just be glued to that, and then I'll probably use washi tape just to create that little fold. I could have used a larger piece of cardstock, scored it, and glued that down. That would be a little sturdier, but this just sizes out so perfectly that I think I'll do it this way. I just don't know which one of these I'm going to use because I need to pick out some other things. I need to pick out my letters and also my embellishments. Now, one of the things I have for embellishments are a lot of stickers from this collection, and I thought I've got a lot of stickers here that I think would work well, and I thought I might do some sticker groupings and use the stickers that are a little plainer, like this one, and there's another one that was similar to, these two. These two are really similar. They have a similar theme to them. They kind of look like my mom in the black and white or beige and white kind of looks. I think they go with it, and they don't take away from all the flowers. And then I can add some other things to those. And then I'll probably do some more stickers and do a group, like 3 groupings or something on the page, or 2 groupings, and then maybe a long line of something over here on this right-hand page. I'm trying to get down to what complementary colors I'm going to use. Am I going to use this cardstock? I'm going to use this one, or even something a little bit orangier that I have still in my stash. And what will help determine that are my letters. Now, I have art pulled out here from some larger chipboard I'm trying to get rid of, to use up. I love this chipboard, but it's getting down to where there's not much left of it, and it is larger. The other thing I'll use are some thickers, and I wanted to show you where my thickers landed whenever I redid my craft space and did a video on that a while back, actually only been a couple of weeks ago. I did a video on that, and I think I mentioned that my thickers were in a different drawer, but I didn't show you what I did to make them fit. They used to be in a larger drawer, and they went this way, and it was just a great drawer, but I wanted that space for fabric crafts. So in order to fit them in a drawer like this, they couldn't go this way, and if I put them in normally, I just didn't have enough room. And I still have a few more things that aren't in here that are in a different drawer, some chipboard things, but I got all my thickers that I kept, that I didn't weed out, and all my small sticker things are all in this drawer, and how I made them fit is I cut the tops off of them. Since I no longer do classes, it doesn't really matter to me which particular name or color these stickers are, because I don't need to publicize that. I haven't bought anything in ages. I'm not planning to buy any more of these products until I've used way down on them. and which means that I'm not going to be out going searching for this particular one again and trying to find it somewhere. So I don't really need that label anymore. Almost everything in here is American Crafts, and other than that, I don't really need to know or care. Some of them are not. Some of them are some off-brands and things. But it just doesn't matter. So I cut the tops off of all of these so they would fit better in the drawer. And that worked out really well. So now let's see which ones would work good for this project. Now these are actually from October Afternoon. But I think I want some more true thicker. So I'm going to pull out everything here that's the right colors. Those are too small. Maybe only those two. No, wait a minute, here's one. With the right, around the right colors. And that's it. And I actually really like them going this way in the drawer because normally when I just pull the drawer out, which is right below my work table, I can see my thickers very easily. But I brought it up here on the table for you guys to be able to see it better. So now, which thickers do I want to use? And then that will help determine the rest of the color palette. So let's see, I'm going to have Art in Bloom. I have to have enough letters. I think these are kind of small. I think I could go with one of the larger ones. I selected my thickers based somewhat on color but also on size. I chose the larger ones. These are foam thickers, and that's going to come into play here in a few minutes, and I'll explain why that is something I discovered an issue with those. We'll have that coming up a little bit later on in the video. But with those thickers chosen, then I know which cardstock will make a good background for the 8x10s. I need to do something with these photos to make them really stand out, and I decided to do something traditional, and that was mat them. To give them a little more pizzazz, though, I'm utilizing some gold cardstock. Now, this is a product that Stampin' Up! Used to sell. They don't sell it anymore. I wish they did. It was a wonderful, wonderful product. But there are other places you can get some gold, more decorative papers. But I still had some of it left, and I'm looking to the 6x6s to create the rest of my mats. And I'm pulling out several here that I want to choose from. What I find that I think would look good for her are some more of the neutrals, and with that gold really being what lets it pop. The 6x6s, though, the picture with the Mount Vesuvius there, that was trimmed down, so it fits on a 6x6, or 6x6 for matting purposes. My mother's photo, though, doesn't, and I didn't have anything in 12x12. So what I did is I took that 6x6 and I trimmed off the side of it and I turned it and pieced the mat. And you don't see it because it's just a small all-over print. And so you can't tell that it is pieced in the back. If you looked really, really closely, you could find it. But at first glance, you just don't tell. And it looks fine. Now, I want to add a little bit of consistency between the two pages that have different backgrounds. So I'm turning my 12x12 there over to have the stripe going up and down. And I'm going to use another stripe print to add a little bit more design to the page. So I'm putting that over here to the right of the 8x10, and I'm going to put some also on the left-hand page as well. That'll create a little continuity between the pages. And then I'm using this little trick that I saw on Pinterest somewhere, I don't know, I saw it years and years ago, for washi tape. And to take washi tape and run it down the side of the photos, and then it creates a hinge. Now the first washi tape I pulled out, the gold one I wanted to use, it just flashed on the screen briefly. That washi tape no longer works. Sticky things deteriorate over time in your stash. Now a lot of my washi tape is still great, but I have found a few of them that I've just had to trash them because they won't come off the roll anymore. They've just gotten so old. And we're going to talk about that issue here again in a moment. But I did find one that worked, and I just run that down the side of the photos that were glued to that 8.5x11. And then it creates a hinge, and it's really easy to see then what's underneath. So I'll have a couple of photos and some journaling and things underneath there. And then a couple more strips of that gold striped paper over here under Mother's photograph, and that provides a mirror to the other page. Now, here's what I was saying about the thickers. When I started to take these off, they tore, and I ended up having to cut them out. they have a lot of adhesive on the back, and they have stuck to their the sheet they're supposed to peel off of. So after I got those letters out, I just ended up trashing the rest of those stickers, and I hated to do that, but it just weren't worth the trouble. So the lesson here is use your supplies, especially things that have a lot of adhesive. Mixed media supplies, things like that need to be used or they will go bad. So this stuff just doesn't last forever, even in a climate-controlled environment. Now I'm getting a few of these stickers. Now when I say stickers, I mean things, certain things, like regular stickers I haven't had a problem with. If anything, sometimes they lose their stickiness, but I haven't had a problem with most regular stickers. But some of the washi tape and some of the thickers and then paints and things that have started to go bad. Continuing to pick out some elements, I had 2 of those that really matched, and then I just picked out one more sort of neutral sticker. And I found these vellum pieces that also came with the collection, and I'm putting a few of those in there to add a little bit more texture to the page. A couple of chipboard arrows, and then I'll want to do something else with each of these groupings to pull them together. And I'm looking at buttons. I went off and I found some gold buttons. I printed my journaling out, and I also found the program for this, and that would have made a great title, that Art and Bloom, but I already have the thicker one, so I'm just going to stick this other one over that I pulled out of the program and put that over on the other page, just to have something that I saved. Most of the program didn't really relate well enough to make it work, or to have anything that I felt was of value for saving. There was information about each of the plants and designers and stuff. I mean, it was useful at the time, but not something that I really wanted to save. But I did really like that title. Now, these buttons, I'm having to cut the little fobs off the back of them, and I'm using my craft and rubber scissors. You have to be really careful when you do that, because things just sort of start popping and going everywhere. But I found that that works for some plastic buttons, because these were probably not originally designed to go on a scrapbook page. I'm not sure what they were originally designed for, but they're what I had in some of my mixed media stash. So I had a couple of gold buttons and a gold Tim Holtz camera. And I'm adding just a tad more washi tape, again, to create continuity by using elements across the pages. And I need a little bit of that pink color up at the top. Our completed 2-pager with a lot of photos, most of them on these 2 8x10s, with a couple of photos hiding underneath, quite a bit of room for journaling, a little bit of memorabilia from the day. And just use some washi tape. I got that idea from Pinterest, and it was a really long time ago, and I have no idea where I saw it originally, but to use the washi tape to create that hinge, I guess you would call it. And so we've got some embellishments here. I just hot glued these on. That's about the only thing that's going to hold something that heavy onto the page. And then we have some more here for the corresponding page. I went ahead and used 2 completely different background papers, but I think it all really blends, especially with adding this stripe paper to keep things continuous across the pages. And we've got a little bit of matting, going a little bit traditional there, but that's, I think, appropriate for the subject matter, especially since we're in an art museum and everything's framed, to go ahead and have some frames around our photos as well. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this 2-page layout with lots of photos on it. If you liked the video, I'd love to get a thumbs up, and if you have any comments, I would like to hear those as well. Thanks so much. Bye.